Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. Bow, 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 bow. My name is Jean and I'm your host for the week.
You are?
And you're also a host.
You're a co-host.
I'm a host for the week.
But how do you spell your name?
It's like this. Jean.
Oh, it's like Jean.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my name is John with the silent H. Welcome to episode number 60 of the Work for Change podcast. We are very happy that you're here.
We, on this episode, have a friend of ours.
Yep.
His name's John.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So we had John and John.
Yep.
I was a little John sandwich, my favorite type of sandwich. That's kind of weird.
That's very weird.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable now.
Yeah. Tell a little bit about who we had.
So we had John Woolley, who is the owner, the creator of Make Wods Great Again, which is, I would say, the most popular like CrossFit meme page. And there's so much more. Like
we start talking about it, but it's like it's not fair to call it a meme page anymore.
Yeah. And he is a great guy, and I'm really, I always say this whenever we have a guest, but I'm really excited for you guys to hear this, especially if you have followed him and have followed his memes. Finding out the person behind the page, I think, is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that there's some really good conversation that you guys, hopefully will enjoy.
If you haven't yet, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Work for Change Podcast. We have a lot of fun stuff that we post on it.
And what we've been doing recently is just, asking a question, putting a question thing out there on our Instagram just to see if you guys have any questions. And normally, I'll look through it and then I'll, ask some of the questions through the conversation. So it's not like we have a Q&A during the podcast, but, a lot of your questions inspire what we talk about during the podcast. So if that's something that you're interested in, want to be part of the conversation, go follow the podcast Instagram at Work for Change Podcast, and you guys can hopefully get in on the conversation. So.
Yep. And then as far as merch goes, we've got a few sizes left. I think we only have smalls and mediums in the jacket.
No, the jacket's completely sold out, and we have up to 4XL in the t-shirts. So if you guys want to check those out, please. It really helps us out a lot, so we would appreciate it.
Without further ado, episode 60 with Make Wods Great Again.
All right, John, thank you so much. Wow, there's a John, another John, and a Jean.
Yeah,
on this podcast.
It's not confusing at all.
That's great.
Won't be a problem.
It won't be a problem at all. It'll be fine. So, okay, just jumping straight into it, as Jean likes to call it, just raw dogging it.
Raw dogging it. There's no dinner beforehand, no nothing.
No, we're not buying you any dinner or anything like that. So, Make Wods Great Again. That is the Instagram that you started, the meme page that you started. I think that most people. So I put a Q&A on the podcast Instagram just to see what people maybe wanted to ask you. There was this one guy that asked how did you get so handsome? His name was John also that asked.
Yeah, we blocked him.
But I'm just curious, what prompted you to be I want to make this, this Instagram to make memes about CrossFit?
I don't think anything prompted me to do it. Actually, the whole thing's weird. I tell everyone, my life is so weird right now. So I started a Twitter feed right after the presidential election. I thought it'd be really funny to create a Twitter feed called CrossFit Trump and do nothing but CrossFit tweets.
I knew that was the same thing. I was just I swear this is the same. I remember when CrossFit Trump was around, and then it wasn't. And then, Make Wods Great Again. I'm like, this is the same page.
I forgot that it was called that before. That's funny.
Yeah, and it was a Twitter feed. I wanted to do tweets in kind of Trump's vernacular. I thought it'd be really funny to talk about, doing, I don't know, wall balls on the border wall and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And so so that's where it started. And then after, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, I was talking to my daughter and we were driving on a trip. We're on a road trip. And she's like, Daddy, you're really funny, but, Twitter isn't where it is. You need to be on Instagram and do memes. And I'm like, all right. So I hand her my phone and she created the page. And
wow.
She created the very first meme for me, actually. And, I kind of meandered through it for a few months, didn't really do anything with it, just kind of screwing around. Really, I wasn't intending to do it. And then regionals rolled around, rest in peace. And Caleb Banfield had a a thing on the update show where she was, said, hashtag update show, and we'll post your memes and your tweets and your posts and whatever. And because I knew she was in a relationship and is in a relationship with what's his name? Help me out here.
James Newberry.
Yes, thank you. Man
I got
bun.
you.
Yeah, best man bun in the business.
Oh yeah,
James
because it has
Newberry.
dreads. It's no fair.
I know.
Can't compare.
Yeah, and he's a handsome man.
Yeah,
so so I did a meme of him, and then I did another one of another Australian athlete that I figured she knew. And sure as the world, she posted both of them, and the page just kind of took off from there. And then Craig Ritchie from Team Ritchie picked up on me, and one of my buddies, like I woke up one morning and my page was going off like a Kardashian. Just like every time I opened it, I'd picked up like 100 followers, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. So my this buddy messaged me. He's like, "Hey, you're on Team Ritchie's vlog," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I don't know who that is," Yeah. And Craig had not only given me a shout out, but he actually put my Twitter or my Instagram handle up on the screen. And that was really like kind of my first indication that, A, people would find the page funny, and B, like if you really wanted to grow something, you needed to really start connecting, with people and influencers. And it just kind of took off from there. It's been a wild year and a half.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't remember how I came across it, but I mean, I think that's how most meme pages work. Is you don't really know the meme that did it, but it's just kind of like
meme that started it
all.
Yeah.
But you just kind of like after it's weird because you feel like we've got I have a friend named Hudson. He lives in San Diego. He does the Constantly Varied Fitness one.
Oh yeah, I know Hudson. He's great.
Yeah. And so same thing where it's like you don't really know how you like come across it, but eventually it's like you become familiar with like the logo, or you become familiar with the type of humor that person puts out, and then it almost feels like a friend, like that meme page kind of becomes your friend in a way. It's like a weird thing that happens.
Oh, it's really weird, man. People, not only do people think they're your friends, they will DM you and act like they've known you their whole life. It's kind of the same raw dog strategy. Like there's no hello, nice to meet you. It's just they just jump in and like they're all in on the conversation. I'm like, okay, slow down, buddy. I don't know you. I've never talked to you. Like, buy me a cup of coffee first.
I know exactly. So I found you through Craig. It was through that video where he like shouted you out. And it was when it was CrossFit Trump, when that was the name of the page. And I think I remember, if I remember correctly, I think you even had on the bio, it was like you were saying like not associated with Trump, or like you were trying to make it clear like this isn't a political page, because like I think I saw you maybe posted in your story where like people were like messaging you like saying how much they hate Trump, and you were like, that's not what this is about. This isn't like a pro-Trump page or anything like that. So I remember seeing that. So like, has there been a reason why you switched? Like, was there like a legal thing that made you have to switch it from CrossFit Trump to Make Wods Great Again?
No, just fear, really. And it's funny because you brought up Hudson. I was actually, when I first started, I got in contact with him and Fluffy Doug because they were kind of the OGs and had the most followers, and I was just asking advice or whatever. And Hudson told me that he'd gotten a cease and desist from CrossFit HQ for selling those little fanny packs that he sells.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Which I thought was just, I swear to God, I thought it was hysterical. I'm like, I can't believe Greg's so petty. He's gonna send you a cease and desist over it, which I'm sure it's the lawyers. But regardless, so I'm like, all right. Yeah, it was weird.
What were the fanny packs?
It was just his logo, right?
Yeah, but he was hashtagging CrossFit. And,
wow. But it's just his logo, the Constantly Varied Fitness logo. And I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Like their legal team is
they don't play around.
No other,
Well, they've given me no grief whatsoever. But I once I crossed 10,000, I was like, all right, I didn't want to be associated with Trump. I'm not a very political person, and I didn't want that kind of fire. Like it just didn't seem fun to me. And I knew I couldn't keep the name CrossFit, so I wanted to keep something kind of upbeat and positive. I'd already created the logo, which was the kettlebell with the Trump here on it. And I wanted to, kind of stay with the theme. So, I bluntly took, Make America Great Again and turned it on its end. And what's interesting now, if people are starting to notice, I'm in the middle of changing my logo again. So I'm getting rid of the Trump here altogether. I've got 2 or 3 designs under under work right now. I'd actually trademarked Make Wods Great Again, Make Pods Great Again, and Make Boobs Great Again, which is the name I use for my partnership with Barbells for Boobs. Mm-hmm. But when I went to trade the kettlebell logo, I couldn't trademark it because Trump's hair is already trademarked. Mm-hmm. So you can't even make this up. I got a 500-page document back from the government saying you can't trademark his hair. My lawyer nearly lost his mind.
Was like, each page for each strand of hair?
Yeah. Probably, yeah. Probably. So I couldn't believe it. Well, yeah, and I wanted to change it anyway. It was like, enough of Trump. I wanted to move on, and so we'll see what comes of it.
That is wild. Like, because I know, like, our gym is the biggest ripoff of Star Wars.
Yeah.
We're called CrossFit Dark Side, and all the font is Star Wars font. Our wall ball shots are like the Empire logo, and then our logo is literally the Death Star, but a kettlebell. And
That's
so,
awesome.
like, yeah, and so I've always like. We kind of got away with it because it's like the 80% different rule or 70% different kind of thing, whatever you need, like to make it so it's not complete copyright infringement. You have a little bit of your own unique thing. But it's crazy that his own hair is its own entity, let alone his face or his accent or
Well, now we know. If anyone notices the name of our gym changing, it's because
my fault.
John just sold us out because on a podcast. Now we're no longer CrossFit Dark Side
I'm surprised
anymore.
anyone in your gym will be there today. I mean, Star Wars just opened. You guys should be there right now.
I know.
What the hell?
I know. Are you planning on watching it?
Of course. I live and die by The Mandalorian right now. I've been telling everyone that.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I don't want to spoil anything because I'm sure there's some people that. But the one that just happened, and that cliffhanger, I was just like, my heart was ripped out of my chest.
Look, I've told everyone this, that if Star Wars would quit making movies and just make TV shows, I would die a happy man. The Mandalorian is that good.
It's so good.
And keep, like, the thing is, like, Rebels and Clone Wars had Dave Filoni as, like, the main creative director and directing most of the episodes and all that. So, like, just keep, and he's doing Mandalorian with Jon Favreau. And so it's like, just keep them. Like, keep them, let them do whatever they're doing, because all the shows rock.
Yeah.
And the movies
Rebels
they try
is amazing.
Yeah.
Clone Wars, amazing. Like, just keep it going.
If you're listening to this and you haven't watched Rebels and Clone Wars because it's a cartoon, I'm telling you, like, obviously the themes aren't super crazy like The Mandalorian, but it's still good. Like, it's so worth watching.
I thought the entire arc of Darth Maul in Rebels was amazing.
Was so cool. Yeah.
And then the greatest lightsaber fight ever between him and Obi-Wan. I mean, it's just really amazing.
And I loved his brother. His name was Savage Opress, but literally Savage Opress is his name.
Was that his brother?
His brother is someone related to him or something like that.
No, it was
his underling or whatever.
It was the bounty hunter. That bounty hunter girl.
No,
Savage Opress.
No, Savage is the guy.
Whatever.
Come on, John. Don't come at me with this. All right. I'll get you.
Slowly open up my phone to check.
He's trying to check it on Google. That's what you're trying to do, prove me wrong.
No, okay, so I got a question regarding memes and people DMing you.
I'm sure that's fun.
Yeah, so there's definitely has to be a balance between like what you post online and then like who you are as a person. Like most logical, rational people can recognize that what you post online as a meme page is not a direct reflection of all of your beliefs and cores and values. It's just kind of like, let me just make people laugh. Have you found a line where it's like, I just know that the amount of stuff or crap I'm going to get by this post isn't worth it, so I'm not going to post it? Or on the flip side, have you noticed that being a little more edgy in posting has made you a little bit more edgy with your humor in real life?
I don't think the posting has made me edgier in real life. I'm pretty edgy in real life.
Okay.
I certainly filter more online than I used to, because as I've gone through it, I've learned, kind of what works and what doesn't. I mean, look, comedy or humor is subjective to opinion anyway.
Yeah.
So, I try to be conscious of that. I've created rules for the page that I stick pretty firm to. Because I've really started to find what works, and to the original part of the question, I do try to keep the page true to my values. And so I try to do stuff on the page that's different than what other meme pages do. I do satire. I do inspirational posts. I post about my dad all the time.
I want to talk about that. We'll
get to O'Roy.
Mm-hmm.
And so this week I've been, posting about Jacob Morris, who passed away, and been kind of facilitating that. And so I try to use the page for more than just memes. I did early on create a set of rules for the page. I don't sexualize the athletes ever. That includes men, and that's harder than you would think. Mm-hmm. Also, that's what she said. Secondly, I try not to, I don't make gay jokes, race jokes, fat jokes. I try not to be mean. That's kind of the general sense of it. Just like, with the exception of if you're a games athlete that's been on the podium or you're a super notable figure, you're fair game. But even those people I'm nice to, meaning, I might make a joke about someone being short,
might make a joke.
Might. But I always try to go in and make commentary about how much I respect them or like them. And I also try to even it out with enough posts of praise of what they do. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, the person on the receiving end of the meme or the satire article is still a person. Yeah, and they still have feelings. And I also have a rule that if anyone ever messages me and asks me to take something down, I immediately take it down. It's only happened once or twice, but, that's it. So, the dirty little secret of a meme page though, is you need to piss off people to grow the page. The more you can get conversations started, the faster it grows. And so there's a balance between posting something that's so edgy that people are sending it to their friends and you're picking those people up, or posting something that's creating a lot of conversation and you're picking those up. I prefer the latter because you're not picking up people that are coming in with kind of a mean-spirited sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And I would rather grow a community that truly represents CrossFit. But, I also think you have to take humor to its most absurd place. I think that's what's funny. Yeah. And so there are times you have to push that line all the way out to the edge and sometimes even over that line to make something really work and just kind of deal with the ramifications of it.
One thing that you said there towards the end I thought was really, really interesting, where you said you don't want to pick up people that just hate CrossFit, right? Because I think it could be really easy to turn into a page that just like kind of poops on CrossFit in general. And I've seen, and I don't want to bring up any names, but I've seen some meme pages that are like CrossFit centric. Obviously, like the person that's running the page does CrossFit and enjoys it, but I've seen some memes that they've posted. I'm like, this just makes us look bad. Like, it makes anyone that does CrossFit look like an idiot or look stupid. And I'm like, that doesn't make me laugh. It's like, I don't know. Again, you said it's all subjective, but I've noticed with your page, you do a really good job of celebrating CrossFit and the positives that it can have, but then also pointing out the ridiculousness or like the silliness in it. But it's never in a way that makes all of CrossFit look bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, my philosophy has always been, I treat CrossFit like my little sister. Like, I'm allowed to make fun of my little sister, but you better not do it. And so, I try to view it that way. And I do point out the things that happen to all of us. Like I talk all the time about getting injured at CrossFit. And someone messaged you the other day and they're like, you're really putting a bad light on CrossFit. I'm like, actually, no, like, if you walk to your car enough, eventually you're going to get injured. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, I was in the gym a couple of days ago doing back squats, and I'm old, so they were heavy for me. And
135. Don't underestimate 135. All right, it's heavy for me.
Yeah, they were heavy for me. I had a 275 on the bar. It wasn't super light, but
solid.
But we're doing like sets of fives. I finished the set, put the bar up. I went to change out the clips. I dropped one of the clips, bent over to pick it up, and pulled something. That's the way it works. I'm 49 years old. That's the way it works. So technically I got injured at CrossFit, but it wasn't during the lift. And it was strict lifting to begin with. So it's like, that's the stuff that's absurd to me, and it's funny. And, so I don't know. I don't put a lot of thought into the haters. I'm not going to be one of the haters, and I'll certainly battle back at those people. I mean, I've shown that over time that, truthfully, it's kind of how I got on the map, was blowing up Jillian Michaels. over hating on CrossFit. You know?
Yeah.
We all had fun with that one for sure. That was
a good time.
Yeah, it
The
was the
kettlebell
best.
swings are something I will remember for the rest of my life.
Oh,
That was a good time in CrossFit. We all stopped hating CrossFit for one.
Yeah.
We all stopped hating HQ for just enough time to all be united.
Against Jillian Michaels, the evil Jillian Michaels.
well, that was the funny thing. Like when I did all those posts, that was right around the time I changed the name, and I thought I was getting sued then because I had done all those posts on Jillian Michaels. I mean, I just blew her up for 48 hours. And then next thing I know, I get a message, a DM from CrossFit Health, and it says, Coach Glassman wants to talk to you. So all it says, I'm like, did I just get called to the principal's office? Like, what the hell just happened? And he called to thank me for it. And truthfully, I think that's why CrossFit is always laid off of me, because they know I'm a much bigger ally than an enemy. And that's true. Like, I would never do anything to intentionally harm CrossFit HQ or anything they're doing, because I really love what they're doing.
Do you feel a pressure to be on trend? Like at all point, like where it's like, this comes out, everyone's going to create a meme about this. I need to have my meme. Or is it just kind of like a fun, like, oh, cool, it's a new like form of meme I get to make. You know what I mean? Like,
I need to make all the Baby Yoda memes
like, yeah,
possible
like,
now.
It's like,
Yes.
like the moment like the Mandalorian comes out, it's like we look for the scene, and we go.
I literally, me and John will be watching through The Mandalorian, and I'll be like, all right, let's look for the image that's going to be the meme. And it's always Baby Yoda doing something, right? And so...
Absolutely.
Like, do you feel a pressure towards that, or is it just enjoyable? Like...
No, I don't feel that pressure at all toward the page. For me, the entirety of the page is just bringing joy to people. And so however I can deliver that is fine by me. Now, I like when the trends happen. I'm fortunate I have 2 teenagers and they send me trends, and I'm on, the internet 24/7, it feels like. So I'm picking up on trends as they're happening, and I look for things but for me, it's always what's visually funny. So some of those trends, I just ignore altogether. I love the Baby Yoda ones because they're hysterical and there's so many applications. And there's just like the gift that keeps on giving. It's even better that he's short. So CrossFit is like perfect, you know? It's like, it's like somebody just created this little character for me, but no, I don't, the trends, all of that comes and goes. I just really look for whatever is. For me, the trends are like, what are we doing in CrossFit? So I look for CrossFit trends. Like right now we're going into the holiday season. Like the week of Christmas is a huge week for me to gain followers because people are home, but they're also doing crazy workouts with their friends. And so whatever happens to me in the gym, those will be my posts that whole week, because if it's happening to me, it's happening to you guys.
So this is a story that has almost nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but it popped into my head because you were talking about friends and working out. So last night I was at 24 Hour Fitness. So I go to 24 Hour Fitness and do regular bodybuilding workouts quite often. And so I was I did my workout, and then I got on the stair climber and I was doing my cardio or whatever. And I was walking on it. And at this 24, they have this functional fitness area. It's basically like a rig, and they have there's bars and you can lift. There's platforms and stuff. And there was a group of 3 guys. They were probably high school, maybe just got out of high school. They're all relatively fit. They were trying to do muscle ups, but more strict, bar star, kind of calisthenic muscle ups, right? And they were working out. It looked like they were having fun, and I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever, do your thing. And then I finished, right? And the guys walked off while I was doing cardio, and then I wiped down my machine, and I went to walk to the to the bathroom, and one of the guys is just against the wall. He's sitting on the ground, and there's just throw up all between his legs, and it's all super watery, right? And at first, I just kind of walked by and didn't even really register it until I got and washed myself off and put on my jacket, and then I walked out, and then I looked at him, and then his friends were finally next to him and looking over him, and again you could tell they were just what the heck just happened? And I walked over and I kind of started talking to them, and I was like, hey man, everything all good? Just kind of because none of the workers had said anything to him yet. He was still just you could tell he was embarrassed and I think kind of confused as to why that happened, But this is kind of gross. But if you look down, it was it was water. It was all water basically, right? And I was like, how much water did you drink during your workout? And he was like, I don't know, a lot. And he's like, I didn't really eat much before. I was like, yeah, don't drink that much water during your workout. And he was like, okay. And then I just like walked off. It was just funny. I wanted to tell that story. It was just like throwing up at a commercial gym is probably, oh man. Like, it's funny here. It's like, someone threw up. Like, Jean, remember you threw up once? One time.
Well, see, now I'm sitting here upset that you didn't get video for me.
I know.
Very memeable.
It was really funny. It's funny when you have you ever done like a CrossFit workout or like a HIIT workout at a commercial gym? Like people look at you like you're insane. Like I like to do like workouts with like deadlifts, and then I'll do like strict pull-ups and like lunges with kettlebells, but I'm a sweater. Like, I drip sweat, and like I'll have people just like staring at me, like, and then I'll finish and I'll be sitting down, and I've like had someone like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just need a second. Like, I'm kind of dying right now. But yeah, that was really funny. Like seeing that at like a commercial gym, the kid was so just mortified.
That's awesome.
I have a friend who doesn't do CrossFit.
Oh yeah.
But every year, maybe
we'll talk him into it.
Maybe once a year we'll talk him into it, and like I do CrossFit 5-6 times a week, and so I'm not fit, but I'm fitter than him, and
you're fit. Stop with that.
But like
whatever.
It's not like I'm like keeping this incredible pace. I'm like very like let me try to go at your pace, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's got that like, no, I'm gonna go as fast as you're doing it. Whatever you're doing, I'm gonna go as fast. And so every time he visits CrossFit, he throws up.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Well, there was one time he didn't though, and he was very proud of himself.
Yeah.
That was good.
I've been doing it for almost 10 years. I'm 9 years in, and I am puke free.
Nice. Yeah, same. I've
been really close, particularly in the last year. I've gotten really close a few times. But
was it during the Open?
I've got matter of fact, I had one in the Open. Oh, this is a horrible story. I can't believe I'm going to tell this. So it was,
yes,
which is, was it 24? Which was the one that had wall balls and the rowing, or was it 25?
Oh, that was 19. That was 19 point.
No, it was 20.5.
Was it 20.5
Oh, and muscle ups?
Oh, the most recent one.
Muscle ups. Yeah, 20.5. Okay. So I did, I was in the scale division, but I did all of them twice to, make sure I had a good ranking. Uh-huh. And so the first time I did it, I'm not really, still to this day, I'm not sure what happened, but I went in and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do 8 rounds. I broke it into 8 rounds. Right. And I was going to do, the pull-ups first, rowing, and then wall balls. That was the order in which I was going to do it. So I was moving pretty quick. Anyway, I got 4 rounds into this thing, and which for my pace, I think I finished that workout in, how fast did I finish it? For that day, it was like 12. I think I ultimately finished around 11, but that one was like 12. Mm-hmm. So about 6 minutes into this workout, halfway through, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to crap my pants. And it wasn't like, oh, I might have to go to the bathroom. It was like, oh my God, somebody go get a water hose and hose down this rower in a second. Like seriously, like my whole body, like it was, I can't even describe it other than like my whole body was like, all right, you're in a bad place, right? Like you're dying and we have to evacuate your entire body. And somehow I held it together. I literally looked at Spencer. He was my coach. I looked at him. I'm like, dude, you might want to back up. He's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, just back up. I don't know what's about to happen. So it wasn't puke, but man, it was just as bad. It was a miserable, the last 6 minutes of that workout were the most miserable moment of my life. And then when it was over, I literally roll off the rower, lay on the floor, and then I'm fine, completely fine.
Wow.
Weirdest moment ever.
That's crazy. I haven't had that. Well, I've had this. I've just stopped workouts. I'm just like, oh, well, got to go to the bathroom. Nature's called.
Well, that's the thing with the Open, right? Like, it's just so much more.
Yeah. I think it hasn't happened during the Open for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's funny because the Open is, for most of us, anyone pretty much that we know, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not like, especially now, it's like, I'm not going to go to the games from the Open. So it really doesn't matter as far as to other people, right? So it's all an internal thing, which is powerful and important. But it's funny because I always just notice myself like putting so much pressure because I'll film the Open, right? And I put it on my second channel. And those videos, like people, I get like anything on the internet, right? You get scrutinized. So that the same workout, I did muscle ups, right? And I'm not the best at ring muscle ups. I've been working on them, but I'm not the best at them. So like I was actually really happy with that workout. I think I got like 22 of the muscle ups in it. And so I was like, cool. Like I was able to do a set of 4, which is like a lot for me at the start. And so I was like really happy with it. I did it at CrossFit Invictus. I had like their like athlete coach. He was the one that was judging me. So I was like, he's going to call me on any no reps. And he was like on wall balls and stuff. And even on some of the muscle ups. But with the angle, like it looked like, and maybe I wasn't completely locking out all the reps, right? And just so many of the comments are like, you didn't lock out any of those reps. None of those reps count. And it's like, dude, I had a judge and I was listening to them. Like I didn't, if I was trying to hide it, why would I post this video for you all to see? You know what I mean? Like it was just, but I put so much stress on myself to do well in the open workouts that, man, it's like, it's a completely different beast because I feel like, and I think we can all kind of relate to this, like I push myself pretty hard in the gym, you know, but I do definitely hold back a little bit. Like I'm not trying to destroy myself every single day. But when it's like the open, it's like, this is the time to like see what you can do, right? Like where can you get your mind to go? And man, it is insane how painful some of those workouts can be.
I think there's value in that though. And so I redid all of them. I had of the 5, 4, I improved by a lot every time. And for me, the value of redoing them isn't to get the better score and the better ranking as much as it is to really learn, you know, when you should be breaking reps up, how hard you should be going early on, what's a good rep scheme. And, you know, kind of to your point, I think you do have to learn where your threshold is. Like for me, it was really figuring out, all right, what should my heart rate be and how long can I hold it for? And like, you know, the WOD that had, toes to bar double unders and the thrusters, you know, it's 20 minutes. And in the scaled division, it was all weight I could move. It was single unders and knees to elbow. So I literally did not stop for 20 minutes. And it was like 1,100 reps. So like, imagine, I mean, it seriously was. Yeah. And so it's 20 minutes of not stopping. And so it wasn't that it was physically difficult as much as it was just a mental challenge to go, can I not stop for 20 minutes? The answer was yes.
Sadly, the answer was yes. What I think is really cool about you doing the scale division, and you've made like posts about this and stuff, especially like I remember you were getting a lot of flack. Like people were genuinely like upset with you. At least from what I saw, it seemed like they were like upset with you because you can do pretty much all of the movements RX, right? Like all of you can move the weight, like nothing was incredibly heavy, you know, until you get to like, you know, that clean workout, which like I can't even move any of those weights, right? Like, so, you were able, like you have the capacity to do them all, but the fact that you were like, I'm going to do it scaled and show you can still get a good workout. You don't have to always push yourself to do it RX because, you know, and like, I love everyone at my gym. This is not me saying anything, but like, there's times where there's people that like, they're like, I want to do RX. And then their workout's like 2 minutes long because they can't do the second movement in the workout. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, what was the point of that? So the fact that you were able to show people this, you can still have a good workout and do it scaled. It doesn't mean that you aren't trying as hard. I thought that was really cool. Was there like did you like decide to do that? Do you always do it scaled? Have you done it RX before the open?
So I RX 2 of the opens that I've done. I finished in top 10% of my age group. Both years I RX'd it. So, you know, I felt like I compete fine against people, you know, in my age division. I decided to RX last year and this year. And I decided to do that because it, you know, for me, it felt like, you know, the people I see doing it, I think it's usually ego. You know, they're like, well, everyone's RXing, so I'm going to RX. And so I wanted to help people understand that, you know, CrossFit's about feeling good and getting healthy and enjoying your life, not about, you know, how a big, strong man you are or, you know, big, strong woman. So that's part of it. And I wanted to show that people in that scale division have nothing to be ashamed of. Those workouts are really hard. Mm-hmm. Like somebody messaged me and said, well, if I want to have a nice little vacation, I'll scale the workouts. I'm like, tell you what, buddy, come do the 20-minute AMRAP with me and we'll see what kind of a vacation it was. Yeah. Because I was literally constantly moving and bluntly could have RX'd that WOD and done half the reps and felt way better. Like, so I think there are moments that the scale division is much harder because you're actually putting in more work. You're maybe not moving as much weight, but you're certainly putting in, more volume or more reps. I just want people to understand that, CrossFit's bigger than just, building to be the next Frazier. I don't personally believe that's what CrossFit is. I think there's 10% of the people out there that go, I can't wait to watch the games. And I came to CrossFit because of the games. The rest of us got here because we had, something going on in our lives that compelled us to be better, and we were drugged there by a friend or a family member, or we found it on our own. But, we were compelled to be better, not compelled to be Frazier, compared to be personally better. And so that's what I was trying to exhibit through that. I got as many messages from people that were grateful that I was doing it. And I got a lot of scary messages from athletes that would message me and say, I dropped in on a gym, at so-and-so, and the coach bullied me into RXing. Literally asked me, what's your 1 rep max? And I said this, and they're like, great, you're RXing. And they're like, no, I don't feel like I can. No, you're RXing. And that was like the complete discussion. And it just really, I don't know, it just makes me sad that, people are going in and not enjoying what they're paying for, so that's all I was trying to do.
So you've got your secondary Instagram, it's Make Lives Great Again, right?
Bods.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. Rhymes. What is the heart behind that? Like, what was the desire to start that? And then how's that been going? Like,
yeah. So, right after I started the page, I think I was probably sitting around 30, 40,000 followers. And I went down to the Arnold in Columbus. I live in Ohio. And so I went down to the Arnold Classic, and people were just starting to figure out who I was. And this girl comes up to me, she's a young woman, and she buys a shirt and she goes, will you autograph the shirt? And I'm like, are you sure you want me to ruin it? And she's like, yeah, sign it. So I signed the shirt, and then she hands me 2 driver's licenses. And I look at them, and it's 2 different girls. I'm like, what is this? And she goes, those are me. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I started CrossFit a year ago. I've lost 100 pounds. And keep in mind, she was like 4'8". So 100 pounds on her is like 200 pounds on anybody else.
Yeah.
And she looked like a totally different person. And like the smile on her face and how proud she was, I was like, man, that's what CrossFit is. Like, it's the change that's happening to people in the gyms every day. It's the difference it's making in their lives, not only physically, but, I could see it in her. It was emotional. It was spiritual.
Well, and the fact that she was even at the Arnold too, you know what I mean? Like that, like imagine a year before, like would she have felt comfortable being at a fitness expo, like, yeah,
no chance, And so I thought, I was like, all right, it'd be a good give back to just do, kind of a subtle little page where we just showcase transformations, and, and it could be any transformation. It doesn't have to be weight loss. It can be emotional, getting over depression, can be age, it can be whatever you want it to be, which is what I like about it. I knew I wouldn't have to invest a ton of time in it. But people really gravitate to it. And I can't tell you like how often, when someone sends me a photo and I post it, and I always put it over in my story on the main page, so they get more exposure. Those people just like, they love it, and for me, it's, I don't know, maybe it's a selfish little thing that makes me happy, but I know people enjoy it. And I think it's inspiring other people to get into the gym. That was part of why I did it. And honestly, it's why I've been posting about my dad, is to get people off the couch. And I think that's what that page helps with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that, because that's very similar to, the whole idea of work for change. This whole podcast came out of the idea of no matter where you are, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever, like you can work and you can change. You're not stuck where you are ever. And that was kind of like the big impetus behind the brand, behind the podcast, behind starting it, is just to talk to people, either who are in the process or who have just work to make like a change in their lives, and that where they are doesn't have to be where they're going forever. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny. I've started doing this across all on all the pages now. Like people that really follow the meme page closely, and particularly if they look in the stories, I try to repost inspirational quotes and particularly things of faith, or maybe areas where people are struggling mentally. And I can't tell you how many messages I get back from people say, I really needed to hear that today. You have no idea. And it only takes one person telling you it's going to be okay to save a life, and I don't want to, over talk about what I'm doing here with it. I just I've started to learn that. And I think that's really important for us as a community to continue to give back to each other, because the world isn't going to do that for us. And we can absolutely support each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's so much value in just a hype man, even if it's like and that's my
Flavor Flav.
Yeah. That's like my big lesson lately. And we talked about it almost the whole last podcast and stuff, was just like a hype man is so huge. Like just someone who believes in you. And even like I'm doing the work to try to make myself my own hype man, because instead I'm my own critic. But it's like the importance of like just that hype man. So with you and people being able to see like you believe in that change, I'm sure it's helping a lot of people. And now I think it's a good segue. You said you want to talk about his dad starting.
Yeah, I want to talk about that, but there was one thing that I wanted to say about what we were just talking about. So with the whole like, you get those messages, and I also get very similar messages, right? Of like people that have lost a significant amount of weight. Like I had someone message me yesterday that has lost 200 pounds, and he was wearing in one of his before pictures like an old Obese shirt that I made years ago, right? And he was like saying how I helped him. And whenever someone ever says, you helped me lose weight, I'm like, I didn't do anything for you. Like you did all the work yourself, like I never want to take credit from someone. But it's crazy because sometimes like, I guess for me, I forget that people see me as this person that's lost weight and like can inspire them. And so honestly, for me, like it's really cool when I get those messages, because it reminds me of the reason that I do what I do, and like for me, it's like I go throughout my day and doing my thing, making videos, whatever, doing what I'm doing. Sometimes you can get lost in like, what am I doing this for, And so for me, like selfishly, it's nice getting those messages, because it reminds me like, hey man, like there's something happening here. There's a reason why you're doing this. You're not just doing this because it's what you do. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever felt that way at all, but like that's something that the past year I've been noticing is those messages I feel like help me probably more than they help the people sending it,
Oh yeah. I get that all the time. I mean, there's nothing I like better than, when someone messages and says, hey, when I'm having a bad day, I go to your page. And it reminds me that even those little throwaway memes that I think are that's kind of dumb, like someone laughed at that and it made someone's day brighter. And, that's really kind of the point of all the pages. Like, can you improve the quality of someone's life? And, it wasn't what I intended when I started it, but it's what it's become. And truthfully, I wouldn't have it any other way at this point.
For the people who are watching the podcast, a cat has appeared.
Oh, Beans.
Yeah.
Bean's a star. Here's the other weird stuff of the page. Someone created a fan page for Bean. He's become so popular. Somebody created his own fan page. I'm like, I don't know if that's just like flattering or the creepiest thing ever. I can't decide.
One of the questions that was will Beans make an appearance? And so
there he is.
There he is blending into the shirt.
Just floating eyes, it looks like.
Do you have a dog?
No, my daughters have a dog. They have 2 dogs now. I just got a puppy yesterday, actually. I don't have time. I mean, I'm sure you guys have the same problem. Like, I have a real job, but beyond the real job, this one keeps me traveling.
Uh-huh.
And so, cats are great because you can feed them and leave.
Yeah.
And be gone for a couple of days.
They're probably happy. You're like, oh, he's gone now. Finally. Get the place to myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a dog person forever. Mm-hmm. And like, the past year, like I've seriously been like, I want a cat. Like I want the little fur fest, little petting, but then also not worry like I have to entertain you every moment of the day. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of liking cat life.
Well, cats are good that way. I mean, here's the thing. So like he's letting me hold him now, but this could turn into him totally just scratching my eyeballs out at the drop of my hat. Like when they decide they're done with you, they're really done with you. Where a dog will just sit there and tolerate it, cats won't.
Yeah.
And he likes,
they don't lie.
And they constantly try to reinforce that they're in charge of the pack. So you have to continually prove that you are, which where a dog, you can dominate a dog and then they'll follow you around forever.
Okay,
weird.
so I want to talk about your dad. So, because I remember the first post that you made, I was kind of like taken aback by it just because it was so different from what I'd seen, and I actually made a comment that I thought was funny, and then you responded, and I was like, man, I feel really bad now because it was like a video of your dad doing his first workout, right? And it was like the video wasn't the best quality, so I just made a joke. I was like, oh, was this camera released the day he was born or something like that?
Yeah, it looked like the Zapruder film.
Yeah. It was really, the quality wasn't the best. And then you said something like being serious, like, oh no, Bob, whatever it was. And I was just like, oh, I feel bad now. Cause I frequently comment on the posts. Like it's one of my favorite things to do is to try and leave I like to, on memes, leave a comment that will hopefully get likes. Because, for me, I'm like, oh, all right, that was funny. People like that comment. But so you posted your dad's first workout, and he's you've kind of shown his journey. So if you can just kind of explain how that started, why you decided to do that. Have you been trying to get him to do CrossFit for a long time? Because I think it's really interesting and really inspiring.
Yeah, I talked to them about it, him and my mom, well over a year ago. He's had some health problems over the last years. He's getting older. He's just turned 75, and he wanted to get in better shape. And this gym in my hometown in Mississippi it's a fantastic gym. The owner is a nurse, so they've got kind of medical staff on staff, this really great facility. And so I'd encouraged him to go. Well, he never did. So my mom ended up having some health problems, and they both decided they need to lose some weight. So next thing I know, I'm getting a message from this gym owner with a picture of my dad saying, hey, guess who signed up today?
Oh my gosh.
And he didn't even tell me, and then he calls that night and he's like, hey, I need some shoes. Can you send me some shoes? I'm like, okay. So I get him a pair of Nanos and send them down to him. And he got in. And to know my dad, he's crazy stubborn. He doesn't believe anything can beat him. He was an athlete in college, so he still thinks he's in shape.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so true for so many people.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It made me nervous. A couple weeks in, I called him. He's like, well, I'm a little disappointed. I can't do rope climbs yet. And I'm like, Dad, you're 75. If I find out you get on a rope, I'm going to be really pissed off. You don't need to do that.
Been trying to figure out them ring muscle ups. Can't get them yet.
Yeah. And he'll probably figure them out knowing him.
That'd be so good.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. But yeah, he's just stubborn as hell. And, but he's really funny. And CrossFit's kind of perfect for him because he's a community kind of guy. He likes to be around people. He likes to tell stories. He's funny. People like him. So I knew he'd love it. My mom ended up doing the CrossFit at home stuff, and working out on her own. And she was in charge of changing their diet. They've both lost 25 pounds in 4 months. Awesome. They're off the meds.
And that's huge. Especially when you're older too, man, that's such a huge deal. And it's not even the weight is cool, but the mobility and the movement. Oh my gosh. That's such a huge deal.
Yeah. Well, and for me, so part of, I did it for a number of reasons, or start posting about him for a number of reasons. Number one, I needed people to start recognizing that this was my personal page, not just some meme page that you can just come in and make rude comments on.
Yeah.
I read the comments, I read the DMs. I needed people to realize there's a human behind the screen.
Yeah.
And I wanted to influence others. And I knew if people could see that, my dad was making a change in his life at his age and losing weight and getting more fit, that it would inspire others to do the same. And I almost immediately started getting messages from people that would say, wow, I showed that to my 60-year-old mom and she went and joined. And I showed that to my 70-year-old dad and he went and joined. And so I know there's, probably at least half a dozen people in that senior class that are now going out and doing CrossFit now that wouldn't have done it otherwise because they're not scared of it. And that's really important to me. To me, it's a give back. And bluntly, I knew my dad would like his little internet fame, and he has. He's getting messages on. He never joined Instagram, thank God. But he's on Facebook, and so the followers stalked him, and he started getting messages from people from France and Australia, and he's bragging to my mom that he's got girls all over the world that love him.
Of course,
it's, it's really funny, but I'm super proud of him. I'm actually going to have him on the podcast in a couple of weeks when I'm home.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be
he is so
good.
funny. Like I'm sure I have to edit it cause he'll say stuff that just is below the line, but he's really funny. It'll be fun.
So you mentioned, your full-time job outside of the meme page, because believe it or not, that's not your full-time job. It's hard to believe. Yeah.
I get paid per meme is how
I've noticed I've noticed the graphic design or some of the design elements you do aren't just like standard, like, oh, I found this picture online and now I posted it. Like you're like tweaking it, you're doing that. Is your work graphic design or word like?
No, I'm a banker actually.
Banker, okay.
It's basically the same thing, honestly.
Yeah, basically.
You graphic design with money.
Yeah.
Same thing, man.
No, like you can do anything on an iPhone these days.
Yeah.
There's plenty of apps that can teach you to do stuff. And I'm fortunate that I have a creative streak that's kind of never ending. So, I just do all that on my own. I don't know. Once my brain starts moving, it's the benefit of having ADD, it's like you start drinking coffee and everything kicks in and you don't stop until something's done. And I just figure things out quick. So I just do it all myself.
Yeah. I appreciate the ones that are like a little twist on what you're used to seeing, like it's like, oh, it's the meme, but with a twist. Like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. People get ticked off about that though. I did that little, that woman screaming at the cat, Smudge the cat. You seen that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did that, but I replaced the woman, I think, with like Dave Castro, and I made the cat Glassman. And people got pissed off. They're like, you got to bring the cat back. Don't do that to the cat. I'm like, it's a meme. Like, it wasn't like I changed the Mona Lisa,
How
Absolutely
dare you
ridiculous.
ruin that fine piece of art?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then I have another, mine are like all like, just what's it like memeing? Seems like, but it's not. It's a world.
Being a meme master.
Yeah, it's a world that many people see, but no one knows what's behind.
Well, it's
I
like
guess.
So memes are like it's like the thing that everyone likes, but everyone thinks they're
everyone thinks that the only reason they're not successful is because they don't have time.
Well, but like with memes, everyone's like. It's like the thing that everyone likes, but people think they're special because they like it. It's like pizza. Like everyone loves pizza. You're not special. Like there's a pizza right there. Like, but it's funny because like people are like memes. I love memes. I'm like, who doesn't like memes?
Yeah.
Like of course you like memes. It is interesting though. Like what you were saying. Like everyone. I feel like I feel the same way. I'm like, I could probably make some good memes, but I've tried, and a lot of times people just get upset at me, and then I'm like, I don't want to make memes anymore because every time I make a meme, everyone just messages me how mean I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't worth it to me.
Yeah, there's an art to it. And, I have felt for a while that everybody's got one or two good memes in them. Because I get them sent to me all the time from people. And a lot of them are really funny, And, plenty that I do aren't. I mean, that's the thing. Like, not everything's going to land right. To run a meme page, though, it does entail creating a lot of content and looking at a lot of content. And to be fair, I put out more content than anyone else out there.
Oh, yeah. You. How many do you have like a quota that you kind of try and hit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do one post every 2 hours, starting at 7 a.m. and ending at 9 p.m.
Wow.
That's fewer than I was doing a year ago. So a year ago, I was trying to do 12 a day. I'm down to like 9 a day now. And I'd like to get that down eventually closer to 5 and be investing time in the podcast and YouTube. But there's enough content out there that I can do that. And I feel like there's enough for me to say that I can do that. So it's okay. It also is part of the success of the page, meaning when I look at the other people that are doing memes or, God forbid, CrossFit memes, they're not willing to invest the effort to figure out what's really working. If that makes sense. And there takes a high level of interacting with the fans of the page and other people to make it work. And I feel like you need a lot of posts to do that, because then it makes people like yourself comment, and then I can come in and make you feel bad about it, and or comment on it or whatever. And and people love that. Like, people love it when I come into the comments, and they love it even more when it's someone they recognize. Like when Vellner comes in and comments, like it blows up, because number one, he's really funny and he's really popular. So when he comes in and roasts me, people love it, and I love that. Yeah. I'm probably if he hears this, he's going to like blow me up on every post now. But but so that's the thing. So yeah, I mean, I kind of have a quota. I try not to obsess about it. I'd be lying if I said I don't. But I try not to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's when with anything, that's how you have to have some sort of routine. Like if you're going to be successful in anything, and I think that like it's funny how with anything that people see that they might think in the back of their head, oh, that's easy or that's simple. You never know how much is really going into things,
Yeah.
like because I deal with with what I do, like making videos. People think that it's just like sit down, film it, edit it, put it up. It's like there's so much more that goes into it as far as like the research and the editing and all this stuff that people don't realize. That I'm sure you've had people that are just like they just think that what you do is like the easiest thing in the world. So I'm sure that could be kind of like frustrating. Just like I don't know. It doesn't seem like you're someone that gets like too bothered by it, but it's just interesting. I mean, 12 a day is a lot of content.
Well, I mean, you really start breaking it down. Like, oftentimes I'm timing the post based off of what, when people are waking up. Right. So if I have a post, I'm like, this would be really funny in Australia. Right?
Yeah.
So I can
Wow, yeah.
I can only post it early morning or late evening when they're getting up or going to bed. It's like, there's stuff like that makes it really weird. I don't know. I think like anything, particularly with meme pages, people come back to meme pages. And I think that's the beauty of what I do. And I've heard it often. People just want to consume content. So they'll physically come back to see what I've done. They don't come back to see what Fraser's done.
Yeah.
They don't come back to see what Tia's done. Not that those aren't, great. They don't have great content. It's just, been there, done that, seen it.
Yeah.
With a meme page, people want to go back and see what they can send to their buddies. I kind of view the podcast the same way. Like I don't time anything on the podcast. If I have 3 episodes, I'll release them all back to back to back, same day within minutes of each other, because people want to consume content at their own pace. They're not going to come in and look at it every 2 hours when I post it, but you need to have enough there that they can go find it and come back to it.
Yeah, that's good.
That makes complete sense.
And you've noticed a drastic difference between like, okay, this is an Australian, I'm going to post it at night versus posting it at noon. Like
sometimes the interesting thing about the meme page though, it's still always about how good is the content. And that's hard to judge. Like I have some stuff that I create that I'm like, oh my God, this is so hysterical. People are going to just lose their minds. And then it won't do squat. And then I'll post something. I'm like, yeah, that was moderately funny. And then it'll just explode.
Yeah.
The sweet spot is when you can find either a video clip of just a normal athlete doing something funny or a games athlete doing something funny, and you have a good caption. That's like the magic bullet. If you can capture those two things, man, it almost always blows up, because again, people like to, they want to relate to the other people in their gym. And so if it hits that bucket, they'll go, oh my God, Sally, did you see this? This was us last week.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts to escalate. I did one 2 days ago of a couple of kids sent it to me. He's playing a trombone. I don't know if you looked at it, but he's made a trombone out of foam roller and a PVC pipe. And the other kid's got a barbell, and they're playing some song, and it's like the dumbest thing you've ever seen. And it looks like they ought to be warming up, and they're not. So I just made the caption, just like that, coach never let us warm up again. And it had like 1,000 comments in 2 hours. And it was just literally people just tagging 10 other people. I picked up 1,000 followers in like 6 hours from that.
Wow.
Because it's people relating to other people.
Yeah. So what you're saying you can't do is just get mad and blame the algorithm.
Yeah.
Oh, the algorithm doesn't mean squat. I don't. Someone asked me the other day, like, are you really concerned they're going to get rid of likes on Instagram? I'm like, absolutely not. It's all about comments. It's about engaging with people. Like, who cares if someone likes your photo? That's for ego anyway.
Yeah.
I care about how many people commented, how many people shared it to each other. Did it mean something to someone? And it's the dumbest ones that mean the most. That's what's really interesting to me.
That's why people like John.
Yeah, it's so true.
One.
It's so true.
No, but it's crazy how, and as like campy as this might sound, but like how memes really can, like, they can be powerful. Like, some of my most, like, engaged, like you were just saying, my most engaged with, or, you know, liked or whatever posts have been just like memes that I've made. They're never very good, you know, so they're very niche, you know, weight loss memes, but people love it because it's like you're able to, for me at least, the way I use it, it's like I'm able to say something but also not. Like, I'm like, no, it's the meme. I didn't say it.
Yeah,
Like,
see, you could get away with that based on kind of the theme of your page. Like, I tried a weight loss meme once and got roasted for fat shaming, and I'm like, I wasn't fat shaming. The joke was, it was a tweet, and I turned it into a meme, and it was something along the line. This isn't exact, but something along the lines of how ironic I found it that Overeaters Anonymous uses that name considering there's nothing anonymous about it. And everyone was like, oh my God, you're fat shaming. I'm like, I'm not fat shaming, but being fat is not anonymous. Like, people know you're fat. It's not a shock. Like, they can see you. Like, unless they're blind,
what?
they can see you.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, it was the name that was funny. You know, it's not funny that people have a weight problem. It's just the name was funny to me. But man, people lit me up. I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's it for the fat jokes.
I mean, I get called a fat shamer and fat phobic all the time. So it's just kind of that's just where it is right now. Like, that whole sphere.
You have to be body positive, John.
Yeah. It's wild, man. It's gotten to a point where it's like you can't. I mean, this is with a lot of stuff right now. It's like you're afraid to say anything sometimes, and it's like, I don't want to offend anyone, and it's a whole thing.
I try to make the analogy. I've made the analogy many times, you know, because people get keyed up about this. You have to be body positive. You can't, you know, tell people it's bad that they're overweight. I'm like, you'll sit there and tell me that we need to, and I'm not going to get into a Second Amendment debate, but they'll go, you need to ban guns because you're killing people. I'm like, guns killed like 20,000, 30,000 people last year max. Obesity killed like 500,000 easily. Yeah. And maybe more if you start factoring into the other diseases that are created from that, you know. And I don't know. I get just so annoyed. People get in their little silos, and at the end of the day, they're just jokes. You know, they're intended to make somebody laugh. If you didn't laugh at it, don't laugh at it. Change the channel. Go look at somebody else's page. I don't care. Yeah. You know,
and there's definitely like a resurgence, especially because comedy is the most brutally honest form of communication of all of them. Like, that's the stand-up comics have always had their pulse on like politics or social events, like, because people want to hear someone's opinion through the lens of comedy, you know, like, people enjoy that. And so there's definitely like with like Chappelle's Netflix show, Bill Burr's Netflix show, like, there's this like the outrage culture like silenced so many comedians. And now it's almost like this, like, you know, like, I think this is funny, you know, like, and so it is interesting, like, not to purposefully hurt people, but like to also be okay with
sharing an opinion that might hurt someone's feelings, you know?
Well, like, I made a joke about Glassman the other day. I don't even remember what it was, but some guy just ripped me a new one because he's met Coach Glassman and he's the nicest guy ever and you shouldn't make fun of him. I'm like, all right, first of all, I've had dinner at Glassman's house. All right. So I've met him too. So let's quit name dropping. Yeah. Secondly, like, Glassman looked me dead in the eye and told me he has thick skin. He doesn't care when people make fun of him. Like, it's okay. Like, he's a public personality with $100 million. He owns one of the biggest companies on the planet. Like, we're allowed to make fun of him from time to time. We're also allowed to love him. And I love the guy. Like, I make fun of Glassman like I would make fun of you guys. Or
that's exactly. It's like, we all make fun of our friends. It's like a thing. That's normal. Yeah. And so, like, it's just weird. It's like, now, if you do it online, it's people that want a white knight for the person and they haven't even asked for it, you know? And I get that a lot, which is nice. Like, I'll post a picture in like a shirtless photo, right? And I have like loose skin or whatever, right? And like, for me, I don't mind if someone comments and is like, what's wrong with your skin, or like, what's going on? I'll just like answer, or I won't reply, or whatever it is. But people will like attack that person, and I'm like, chill. Like, I appreciate it, but like, I'm okay. Like if they have a question and it's genuinely like genuinely, if they're like, why are your nipples there? And I'm like, well, let me explain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's understandable to be confused. You know, like it's different. But people, it's like they want to be upset they just want to be upset, so they'll be upset for someone else if they can't be upset for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet's a weird place, and it's a mean place too. Like I get plenty of mean posts and people sending me mean comments, and I say all the time, like the last bastion of area that you can make fun of people is baldness. That's it. Like it's the last thing left that you're allowed to go in and say, hey, guess what? It happens to me all the time. Like people want to say something to me, it's like, oh, you're bald. I'm like, really? Okay, I had no idea. But it's just people trying to be mean. And so the internet's just a weird place, but I think if it's used right, I think if we all use it right, I love, the concept of what you guys are describing here, work for change. And I think if we use it right and can really make it a community, we can do tremendous work. Like this whole, this kid that passed away last week, Jacob Morris, is such a tragic thing. But, as a community, everybody's come to, I've had like maybe 300-400 gyms that have messaged me doing a workout in his honor. We've raised over $25,000 for his family. It's just like, it's been a really kind of, awe-inspiring moment of being able to help them. And, I think if we can continue to use it in that manner, it can be a really, really great thing.
So I do want to share his story a little bit, kind of to close out the podcast. So could you maybe tell the story of what's kind of gone on and like why there is this memorial workout for him?
Yeah. So I didn't know Jacob. So Jacob Morris was a CrossFit Games athlete. He competed in the under 17 division in 2019. He finished 7th, super fit young man, comes from, I hope I'm not wrong, but I think it's a family of 4 kids. And, looks like a really special family. He was very religious. Like, he has this Bible verse that he posts like in everyone. And when you go through and read his posts, like I was sitting there sobbing like a baby reading them.
I was too, man. When you posted his page and you were like, read up if you want to understand like what was going on, I was like, this was a mistake because it was like, you see.
That's the way I felt, I'm like, I'm reading his Bible verse and he's talking about trusting in God. And you get to the very last one. And the last one is a quote by C.S. Lewis, who's one of my favorite authors. And I know he's the kid passed and I'm like, this can't be happening. And I have kids this age, so it's even worse. It's like, I'm just envisioning it being one of my own kids, but it turns out during his medical testing for the games and all that, they found a heart problem. He had a leaking valve and so they had to replace it. And he died from complications of that. And, you just think, 17 years old, you've got the world by the tail, you're invulnerable, you're going to live forever. Yeah. And, and it's obviously not the case. And so when it came to my attention, I just saw it on somebody else's page and started reading the details. I'm like, man, I've got to get involved in this. Like I got to do something, even if it's, to help the family. So I flipped over to the GoFundMe. And I shot a post into my story and I looked back at it a couple hours later and there's like a couple extra $1,000 in it. And I'm like, all right, this is going on the main page. Like if people are resonating with this, like we need to go all in. And then Jacob Hepner actually reached out to me and he was traveling back from the Philippines. He's like, oh, when I get back, we need to do something together to help this family. And so then we just started reaching out to other athletes and other pages and getting people to post on it. And, I did a challenge out to all the affiliates to do a workout, do the last workout he did before he passed in his honor, and then to push people to the GoFundMe page. And the response to that has been unreal. Like I've been getting posts from all over the world, Jerusalem, Norway, Australia, wherever, just, honoring this kid and his family. It's just really kind of a touchy moment to see the community come together. I mean, obviously an incredibly heartbreaking moment for the family, and hopefully, we can keep Jacob's spirit alive and, keep his name out there. Cause from all accounts, every friend that I've talked to that knows him and competed against him just raves about what a terrific young man he was. Just like a real inspiration, had this amazing witness of, his religious life. And, it's really kind of unreal.
Yeah. For people who want to see the workout, do the workout, what's the best way to do it? Go to your page?
Yeah. See what, if you go to the tagged portion of my page, there's like everybody's posted that they've done it. It's all there. It's a hard, I mean, keep in mind, he was a games athlete, so it's a hard workout.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, but, here, I'll tell you what it is. Assuming I can get it to come up.
I just found it. So it's 4 times, it's 50 wall balls, 40 calorie ski, 30 dumbbell snatch, 20 box jump overs, and 15 bar muscle ups. And it's event 1 Morris, right? That's what the hashtag is?
Yeah, people are trying to turn it into the first event of the games next year, trying to talk CrossFit into doing it.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. But we'll also, like, for those of you guys that are listening and on YouTube, we'll have a link for the GoFundMe so you guys can find that if you guys are interested in that.
Yeah, and there's a link on my Instagram page as well. If you just hit the bio, it's the very top link.
Cool.
That's there currently. So hopefully we'll get plenty of money raised for the family, because I'm sure the medical expenses are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Cool. So on that, as we're closing out, earlier you mentioned you're like getting a new logo for Make Wods Great Again, which kind of what's next for what, Make Wods Great Again? Like what are we seeing on the horizon? I know like you have done turning a meme page into like
so much more. It's
so
not just
much
a meme
more.
page,
Yeah.
honestly. It feels weird saying that it's a meme page.
because it's not,
it doesn't feel like it is at all.
So like, maybe a little teaser, taster, like what's next into Make Wods Great Again and where you're going with that?
So I want to be where everyone is. I want the meme page for your phone. I want the podcast for your car, and YouTube for your house, for your TV. YouTube's going to be far down the road. So for now, I'm focusing hard on the Instagram page, driving it, and the Make Wods Great Again as a companion to that. I've really been working hard on the podcast. It's really starting to take off, which is exciting. Picking up a lot of downloads, a lot of people listening. I added a co-host, Nikki Brazier, who's the sideline reporter at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
She's amazingly funny. She's a terrific co-host, except she can't figure out how to turn the notifications off of her phone.
I noticed that the last time.
It happens every time.
Ding,
every time she's
ding.
on it, it dings. Every time. But other than that, she's a really terrific co-host. So, I'm going to continue to put some focus on that. I'm actually working with a media company to partner with some other podcasts. So this is a real sneak peek. I've been working with the Adaptive Group. I want to bring an adaptive podcast out, so they've got a bigger voice in the community. That's
awesome.
a group I'm really kind of passionate about, and I've been working with Logan Aldridge. I don't know if you know Logan, but really spectacular kid, and I think he'd be a great podcast host. So I'm hoping to have them up and running February or so.
That's awesome.
And then after that, I'd like to do YouTube, but I want to bring relatable content, kind of like the meme page and the podcast. And so I want to do content that's what the everyday normal CrossFitter does. And I haven't quite figured out what I want that to be. And I'm just not willing to just put out anything. So I'm kind of tiptoeing into it. I've been talking to some, other people and hopefully we'll, be making some guest appearances on other pages, maybe even yours if I'm lucky. And try to, kind of learn what it should be like for myself, because I want it to be unique. Like there's so many great content providers. I mean, you guys do great content, Buttery Brothers, Craig. There's so many great ones out there. I don't want to repeat what other people are doing, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of tiptoeing my way into that. But, I envision that being up and running by end of next year, maybe.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. I really appreciate you being on the podcast, man.
Yeah, man.
One last thing before we finish.
Yeah.
While we were doing all this, I Googled, and Savage.
I know. He secretly
right.
Googled it and then like under the table showed me.
I was like, hey, look at this.
Yeah, you were right. I just want to make sure we got it in, because people were Googling. As soon as they hear this, they're gonna start Googling.
I know I'm wrong. I recognize it.
It's normal. I'm usually right with most things. So
but I'm pretty sure whatever.
You're welcome.
He was so sure of himself. That's why it's so sweet.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go now. All right.
I think the girl's name though was like Ventress, if I remember right. So it's
yep.
like it's a really close name. So
Yeah,
in your
it's
defense, they
Ventress,
sound
yeah.
really similar.
Yeah. You know what? Let me just Ventress.
Savage Opress. How cool of a name is that, though?
That is a
His
great
name is Savage.
That's
but
also
just
my porn name.
Savage.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I know I saw you somewhere else before
Oh,
this.
it's Asajj Ventress.
Asajj
Yeah,
Ventress.
see, they're so close.
Yeah.
That's where it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever you have to tell yourself to sleep at night. All right, John.
Thank you,
All right,
man.
guys.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate it.